Hi, wie geht's, wie steht's, and welcome back to Cook Like a German. And in our European Fire and Flavor, we are going today to Turkey. And where is this? Well, the Bosporus is right here, and this big piece is Turkey. And what do we do for Turkey? We have to make a kebab. And the golden Rolls Royce of all the kebab, it's called Adana Kebab from the southern area of Turkey. Let's just check what is actually in our kebab. And of course it will be done over fire. Alright, so we are making Adana Kebab. Everyone knows the Döner Kebab. What is the stuff, what they slice, it's all in slices and then it's nicely turned and grilled and you have it in your pita pockets. But this is Adana Kebab, and that's, like I said, the gold Rolls Royce of the kebabs, and Adana is just the town where this comes from in Turkey. And we are going with the side dish. This will be our tzatziki take on. So we have like some Greek, you can also use Turkish yogurt, but I have Greek yogurt with some cucumbers, with olive oil, garlic, and a little bit of our dill. And pepper and salt, always. Test, test, test. This is just from our garden. We have more peppers and tomatoes because another classical side dish is skewering actually hot peppers and tomatoes and char them over the open fire. So this will be a little side dish. And this one is very interesting. This is actually called Sumac onions. You have red onions here with olive oil, with parsley and chive, with lemon juice, sea salt, and there will also be some pepper from the pepper mill, and sumac, a Turkish spice. It's very common in the Balkan area. So this will be all assembled and massaged, and it's a nice little refreshing side dish. Now, what's our kebab? So the Adana kebab normally would be lamb. But that's traditional, and nowadays people mix beef with it, or they do use only beef, or they also use chicken. So there's a variation. But one thing the Adana kebab always has, you need one of those, because it translates like to minced meat, but it never ever will be minced in a food processor. The chefs in Turkey, they always use a knife and mince it enough that it is fine enough to stick on a skewer, but not as fine like a ground beef, what can easily fall off. And we will demonstrate how we do this. But in general, it's a simple, and they really believe it has to be super simple. I use parsley in there. Some say it's already too much. So we have a little parsley and chive. We have a fatty like taco beef. We do have a couple of garlics. Garlic cloves I have to mince. And our spice mix is red pepper, sea salt, black pepper, cumin, and that is it. And that is it. And then you have forgot. Sweet paprika also goes in there. And we're taking one onion, but instead of like mincing it, we are grating it, and then we squeeze out a little bit the water of it and mix it together with the chicken. What is chicken breast here? Chicken size. And I like this because it has like fat with it, what will render, because we have already a relatively lean 90% beef. So they use goat fat and add this actually to the lamb to make it a little bit more fatty. It will be rendered out anyway, but it keeps it moist. So this thigh is a little bit better than a super lean like chicken breast, and the dogs can have something of it. So let's see how our taco beef will be and behave. Obviously, in the moment, you can't do anything on a skewer with this. The idea here is not to produce something like ground beef. We want it definitely stay a little rougher, but it has to be like soft enough that we can squeeze it with our hands around a flat metal skewer. Now that the consistency is definitely getting smoother. There is definitely some tissue what you have to break down. So it's a little bit of workout, but we will stay traditional and use our arms and not the food processor. So I think we have the right consistency. As you can see, you can mush it together. So this now the beef. Now we are going next to a couple pieces of the chicken, and then we put it both together. All right, you might have with your eagle eyes detected that I have a different knife in my hand now. This job here is much easier with chicken than when you use beef. So this is my favorite chef knife. I like it a lot. It's sharp. And what we will do now, we mince this guy the same way, very small like this, and then we combine it together. It's a little tougher than I thought because there's some muscle tissue, and you can hear it when it does a crunchy noise. So even with this very sharp knife, and I showed you before, I mean, this is a giant chef knife where you have a lot of leverage and rolling motion. So it's a little bit hybrid for breaking bones, but it's thin and very sharp, but you need to really put your whole weight in it. All right, so our chicken thighs are actually minced. And like I said, you can use lamb 100% and nothing else. Lamb and beef, chicken, turkey. The world is your oyster. So what we will do now, this will be all mixed together, but we have the spices. We can throw them in now. Now we're also doing our herbs. All right, now we are mincing the garlic. If you have minced garlic in a jar, nothing wrong with using this. I mean, this here has a little bit more bite because it's fresher, but it's less chopping. So there's one thing missing. We have a yellow onion here, and we are not mincing it. We are actually grating it, because then we can squeeze the water out and make it not too wet over in the next 2 hours. And the onion actually breaks down some of the meat proteins. So it's actually a tenderizer, a natural one. That's great. Quickly should demonstrate what we are looking for. See how the onion water is releasing. So we will literally squeeze it. So you can mix this mixture and leave it in a Ziploc overnight in the refrigerator. It will tenderize it more. It depends on the meat what you have. So you can mix it all together by hand. All right, so this guy goes in the refrigerator for 2 hours. So we said 2 to 4. It's around 3.5 hours. This minced meat was in a Ziploc in the refrigerator. So what happens next? We have 2, 4, 6 skewers here. So we are making a little, well, I show you. We are making, first, you have to actually massage it a little bit so it sticks better. Because I did already give it some love beforehand. We don't have to get overboard here. So I haven't done that before, so you are that's a new moment. So I think what you do is you're starting out with a meatball, bringing this carefully to the middle, and now you squeeze slowly and make it longer. What you wanna get out here is one longer, like flat meatball, so to speak. You can stick it in this size, you can make it longer. I mean, I think this is a good bite size. So we have 6 in there, and they do need to get some flame so they stiffen up a little bit. We try here 4 to 5 minutes undisturbed before we once slowly turn them, because they should get hard and not fall off the stick. Have here like garlic and olive oil with a couple of spices I threw together just to brush it. So we had our first, like we had a little accident. So our first were like hanging and they were too heavy. So they in the frame they were falling like down with the weight of the skewers. So they will go in a pan with butter. And now we have the vegetables on and we don't use the frame anymore. Garlic oil. We do have our Adana Kebap, these guys. So let's just take one of those. What I would do is get one down. And we have peppers and tomatoes and also onions. So these are actually hot peppers. I want to try, they are from our garden, so they might be the first year. They might be pretty hot. And also the long green ones from our garden. Then we have tzatziki, Greek yogurt, pretty much standard tzatziki. We have like a onion and garden tomato basil salad with a tangy dressing. And the Sumac onions, Turkish recipe. Like a vinaigrette out of oil and lemon, plus Sumac and red onions. Let's see. Well, it is cooked through. That's good. I like it. It definitely has a different taste. I mean, it's much more like a Mediterranean taste, what you also find from Greek food. Let's see with the pepper. I'm saying how quickly the vegetables cooked. And now, this I haven't had before. Now I see why they use it. It's so acidy, with a lot of lemon juice in it. Takes the bite of the fat right out. This was definitely unexpected and a little different than normal. Couple of oopsies. But you know what? Every oopsie ends up in leftover love, and we will make something nice out of it. And not to forget the pita bread. I know in Turkey they use some oval different bread, more fluffy. But this works too. So we'll see what is next.